Sean Hammonds, what is the crack, my friend? Thanks a million for coming on today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Legend, man, legend. And Sean, this podcast is based on getting the most out of life, becoming the best version of yourself, and I guess daring to dream big as well. And from knowing you the past few months, these seem to be three kind of pillars that you live by. But for anyone who doesn't know you, and for anyone who mightn't have a clue who Sean Hammonds is, could you give us a little bit of insight
Mm.
into your backstory and yeah, what you're all about?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'll start off with saying I think it's funny that you say dream big because when I was 14, I can't remember what the shoes were, but I remember everyone was going crazy about there were these Nike shoes where you could get like words written on them at the back. And I remember getting dream big written on the back of my shoes. And there was
Stop
just
the
something
lights.
about that that I was like, this is me. Like, this just encapsulates who I am. You know, I'm always going to be a big dreamer,
Love it.
but I'm also not just going to dream it. I'm going to walk the walk. And I was like, it's just like dream big, but on my feet, it was too much. I had to do it. But
I love it, love it.
yeah, so I was born in Ireland. Um, was raised in between Ireland and England until I was about six. Then I lived in Iran for 2 years because my dad was Iranian. Then we moved back to Ireland. When I was 12, I went to France on my own for 5 months and lived with a family in France. Came back, finished school, lived in Australia with a couple of boys for a year. Came back to Ireland, did uni. So, I mean, my whole life has been like traveling, traveling, traveling. I'd been to like 16 different schools,
Wow.
lived in five different countries. You know, like consistency has never really been something that has been in my life. So I've always been someone who's like wanted to chase that next adventure, who's ready to see what else there is in the world. And I suppose after being in Dublin for 4 years doing uni and then working there for another year, I kind of just felt that I was a little bit stuck, you know, and I wanted to, I don't know, I wanted to try something different. I always felt like social media was an avenue through which I could succeed. And I remember having a conversation with one of my friends and being like, oh, I wish I could just like travel the world, you know? And I feel like I could do it. I feel like I could turn it into a job. I feel like I could be a travel blogger. And she was like, "Well then do it, Sean. You know, like what's holding you back? Go. If you honestly think that you can do it, then do it. Put your money where your mouth is and do it." And I was like, "All right. Like, okay, okay. But you know what? Like, yes, you're right." And I feel like I try not to have any regrets in life. And I think that I'm the type of person who, if I make a mistake, that I won't regret it as long as I've learned something from it. But if you don't do something, then you don't really learn a lesson from that as much as just that you should have done it in the first place. But then you end up having a regret. So anyway, I decided, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna travel the world and try and become a travel blogger. And yeah, I mean, I just hit a quarter of a million followers a couple of days ago in like 14 months. So I think it's safe to say that it's kind of working.
I think it's kind of working too, my friend. I think it's kind of working too. And it's funny, it's funny you say that. That you just had such a, I don't know what the word would be. Would it be chaotic childhood, or just you're kind of always on the move? You
Yeah,
weren't in one place too long.
100%. Yeah.
And do you think that was 100% the reason that you always wanted to seek new adventures? You felt that you became stagnant if you stayed in one place too long. Was that the core kind of reason for that sense of adventure?
I think it's definitely one aspect of it. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like the core aspect of it. I think one of the reasons is that I'm just so like so yeah, I'm not sure if I said it, but when I was in uni I studied philosophy, politics and economics. I've always had I've always been a really deep thinker. I like thinking about world problems when it comes to politics. Like what sort of like legalities you could put in place, what sort of legislature you could use in order to fix world problems. But then I've always been a quite deep like philosophical thinker as well, and I really like to think about problems of mankind, like the existence of God. Can it be proven? Can it not be proven? What is the autonomy of the human mind? Do humans have autonomy? Like all of these kind of questions. And so for me, one of the greatest ways to expand your mind is to meet people who think differently to you, and to learn from them. So, and the best way to meet people who have different experiences and different lives is to travel to different countries.
Okay.
And then, I mean, who doesn't like going and seeing like beautiful waterfalls and beaches and eating cool food from all around the world as well? I definitely think one aspect of my childhood, which was the traveling around and like chopping, changing. You know, I said 16 different schools. Like, obviously, there are cons to that, like in terms of there not really being any stability. But one of the things that it gave me is the ability to make friends with anyone, anywhere in a matter of seconds, you know, because I had to when I was a kid. So that's something that I think it gave me confidence, definitely, in terms of my own ability to travel the world and my ability to enjoy it and my ability to feel safe. I just wasn't nervous at all about traveling because I was like, yeah, I can do this. The only question was whether or not I could work and if I could be successful in terms of like building up a following and turning social media into a job. But the enjoyment aspect of traveling was never in question.
So much to delve into there, Sean, and yeah, honestly, that's really interesting. I find people I talk to that have traveled more are a lot more open-minded than people say that don't travel, they stay at home all their lives, and they're kind of a bit of homebirds. So that is definitely a testament to you as well. In terms of discovering your passion, I found with me anyway, I had to
Mm.
throw a lot of shit at the wall. I had to just see what
Yeah.
stuck. Was it a similar case with you, or how did that come about? And also, would you have any advice for anyone who doesn't actually know what their passion is yet? Any actionable tips of how to actually discover one's passion?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll answer that one first. And I think because you answered it, it's just throw a load of shit at the wall. Like, how are you supposed to know what you like? If you go to a restaurant and there's a menu and you haven't tried any of the food, how are you supposed to know what you're gonna like? The only way that you can find it out is go to the restaurant every day for a week and order something different, you know? And then you'll find something that you really, really like. But if you just go and you order one thing and you kind of like it, and then you go the next day and you're like, well, I mean, that thing I ordered wasn't amazing, but it wasn't horrible either. I feel like a lot of people are too scared to order something else in case they waste their money on some type of food that they don't like. When in reality, like 30% of that menu, they're going to enjoy it so much more than the thing they ate. But they kind of liked that thing that they ate. It just wasn't amazing. And I feel
Yeah,
like that kind of sums up most people is that they will stick with something that they kind of like because they're nervous that they'll waste money and that they'll get something that they don't like as much, instead of being like, let me try it all because sooner or later I'll find something that's amazing that I absolutely love. And yeah, you'll have to do a few shitty things along the way and eat a few things that aren't amazing, but then for the rest of your life, you'll know if you go to that restaurant, you order that thing, it's going to be 10 out of 10. So I think, yeah, you just got to throw a load of shit at the wall, try your hand at so many different things, and then that's just the best way to find what you're passionate about and what you're good at. Um, and then to answer the first one, yeah, I mean, when I started traveling, I started making videos, like really cool drone shots. I tried to do like really cool edits. I was doing a lot of very like cinematography. Yeah, I was doing a lot of cinematography, cinematography, um, and And it's not what actually what I wanted. It's not what I enjoyed, but it's what I thought people wanted to see, you know? So I was taking like videos of like beaches and yeah, trying to do like cool drone swerves and like just playing with around with like trending music and doing all that kind of stuff. And it, funnily enough, it's not what I wanted to do, and it's not what banged. It didn't really get that many views at all. It wasn't that successful. And then I just started literally just recording myself. I just like talk about what I wanted to talk about. So, I mean, on my page, I talk a bit about mental health. I talk a bit about happiness. I talk about the three best places to go in Mexico City. I kind of just talk about whatever I want to talk about, and it's not so much. Well, I like to think of it anyway that my page isn't a travel page. I like to think of it as it's Sean Hammond's page.
Yeah.
So if you want to follow me, then you're just going to see my life. And who knows what's going to happen in my life? One day I'll be dancing in the rain. One day I'll be sick and I'll post about me being sick and how shit it is being sick when you're traveling. Then I'll post about going home after traveling for a year and how it feels when you're home and your family are at work, your friends are at work, you're just sitting on the couch, kind of waiting for them to come back. And then I'll post a video of me doing a double backflip off of a waterfall in Bali. And then I'll give like recommendations on top 10 places to go in India. It's so I've really tried to make myself the niche, I suppose, and really leaned into that instead of trying to make videos that I think other people want to see.
Yeah, that's a lot to delve into there as well. I really enjoyed the analogy for the menu and going into a menu picking the same thing every
Mm.
time just because you partially like it and you're afraid to try the other things. That was absolutely beautiful. And as
Yeah,
well as that, I think it all starts with one decision. Like one decision can completely change the entire trajectory of your life. And it sounded like for you, and I
yeah,
know it was the same for me, it was quitting that depressing job. It was quitting that unfulfilling job that was just a dead end and
yeah,
didn't fulfill you. It didn't light you up or excite you. But for a lot of people, I can imagine they might not have the courage to make that decision, to make that big change.
yeah.
What advice would you give to those type of people that just don't know how to start? They don't know how to take that leap of faith.
Well, I think it's a tough one because it's a little bit of a catch-22. Um, but I think that before you take a big leap, I think you need to love yourself and believe in yourself. And I mean that's really difficult to do as well. So I mean you don't need to be fully there. Sometimes I hate myself, but I love myself most of the time. Uh, but and obviously sometimes I have like self doubt. I'm like here in a hostel in Guatemala, and I'm like, sometimes I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Maybe I should have just got that corporate job. Like, I want to make my mom proud. I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? But I do. I believe in myself, and I think that I have what it takes to be successful. And so I think if you if you do want to take that leap, and if you do want to quit your job, and you want to like really make something for yourself and of yourself, then you first need to truly believe that you can make it. And then it's also important to acknowledge that like this isn't really a shortcut. Like it's a lot of work. People really don't see the behind the scenes. It's like
Yeah.
it's like watching a movie. A movie's 2 hours long, but it takes what, like 9 months to film. So there's so much that goes into it that people don't see. Um, so if you want to quit your job because you're like, oh, I want to travel the world and make silly videos and post them and get paid, then don't quit your job because that's not how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. I think you need to figure out your why, and your why has to be strong enough before you go and
Definitely.
make a big decision like that. Um,
Yeah. Like, why are
uh,
you doing this? 100%. Like, what is your like? What's your end goal? Do you know?
Yeah. I know for me anyway, being completely transparent, my why was completely messed up at the start of all this. My why was just, oh, I want to make money. I
Uh
want to
huh.
make money. Seeing all these people on TikTok with all these side hustles. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny when you start off with that mindset and you realize, oh my God, it leaves you getting pigeonholed into something that doesn't actually excite you either, which is what happened to me. I ended up trying to do digital marketing, Facebook ads, lead generation, and then I was like, this actually isn't enjoyable. You know, I'm trying to get away from the 9 to 5 hustle to create a life that excites me. So I guess maybe for anyone listening, yeah, figure out your why first would be definitely a great place to start. But there is a lot of uncertainty on the
And
way, and
so,
it's
no, I was just gonna say, what's your why now? How has it changed?
yeah, yeah. So my why, yeah, as I was saying, was just to make money, but then I completely changed, like completely like flipped the switch with that, flipped the script. Now I'm trying to share my unfiltered journey of trying to create a fulfilling life for myself, trying to leave that 9 to 5 conventional path behind, but also try to help as many other people who feel stuck in that unfulfilling life, who also followed the traditional path and don't know how to get off that hamster wheel. Because I feel like so many people in Ireland, the UK, probably all over the world, they just go to college for the sake of it. They don't know what to
Yeah.
do, but they pick a course because that's what everyone else does, and they feel like they're stuck
Yeah.
with this life. So I guess I'm being a guinea pig to show that there is a way off the hamster wheel, and yeah, I'd love to inspire other people to get after it too and create a life that excites them. But as you said, Sean, it's definitely
I
a
love
long
that.
term. Thanks, man. Thanks. But as I was saying, like it's definitely a long term game, isn't it? It's there is no shortcut when it comes to that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. No, and I mean, do you know, for some people, it'll go a bit faster than it will for others. Do you know, like even myself, do you know, like when I actually sit down and think about it, yeah, like a quarter of a million followers in over like in like 14 months. That's crazy growth, you know? Like that's unprecedented. But then I'll go on Instagram and be flicking through reels and I'll see some girl be like, I started my faceless Instagram 3 months ago and she's got like 400,000 followers. And then I'm like, oh, what am I doing wrong? I need to do better. Like, I need to be posting more. I need to make more. Like, and then you do, like, you always have to, like, take a step back and be like, stop comparing yourself with others.
Yeah,
You're on your own path. You're doing your own journey. All roads, like, lead to different places, you know? And you need to just be proud of your own accomplishments
mm,
without constantly comparing who you are, what you've accomplished with everybody else in the world. Because there will always be someone taller, there'll always be someone stronger, there'll always be someone who's gotten from A to B faster, there'll always be someone with more money. So if you just compare yourself all the time, then you're never ever going to be happy.
absolutely, absolutely. And I think it's so easy to always be focusing on the future. Like the goalposts are forever
Mm.
changing. You reach a milestone or an achievement that you've been waiting to achieve for so long. You finally get to it, and next thing you don't appreciate it probably as much as you should have. So much learnings to get out of this game, and so many life lessons. But I think, for me anyway, the amount of personal growth that has been attained from trying to establish a business, from trying to put yourself out there online, has been phenomenal. Like, I'm sure it's been the same for you too.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, being vulnerable and I mean, literally like putting you out into the internet for anybody to see, it's scary, you know? You're like, what are people going to think of me? And I'm not even just talking about like random people from all over the world. I mean, you're like, what are my friends going to think of me? Do you know? Like that was the thing that was my major fear when I started off. is I was like, oh, the lads are gonna slag me, the lads are gonna take the piss out of me. And I was like, I don't want people to think I'm a loser. And that's what I was saying to myself is I was like, I don't want people to think I'm a loser. I don't want to start posting because what if I post like loads and loads and loads of videos and I get 0 followers and then I fail and then I come home and I've like spent all my money and I come home and I'm such an embarrassment. And then I was like, bro, you're you're letting yourself you're ruining your own life because of something that isn't real. You've got these fears and you've got these ideas in your mind of things that might happen, a possible future, but it's not real, it's not tangible. And you're stopping what is real, your current life and your current progress, because of something that isn't real. And maybe it'll happen, but maybe like 2,000 other possible futures will happen. So yeah, I think that the personal growth that I've gone through from just, yeah, like believing in myself, from putting myself out there, from being vulnerable and um, just being who I am, like authentically myself, like I was saying, not just posting like cool cinematography. What is that? Cinematography, yes. Styled kind of videos and it just being me. I'm like, yeah, it's been a lot of personal growth, definitely, and I'm like really happy to hear that it's been the same for you as well.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think a lot of people are the same in this kind of field, I guess. There's a lot more that meets the eye when it comes to content creation, but it's exciting
Definitely.
times for sure. And I'd love to pick your brains into what exactly do you have planned on the horizon going forward in terms of monetization, in terms of maybe business, in terms of maybe traveling. What is the big plan for the future?
So in terms of monetization, I I just secured a the biggest collaboration that I've gotten in a while, and that came down to like negotiation tactics. So I mean, I was offered a sum which I think is way, 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 way below what I should have been offered. So I got back to them and I was like, you need to pay me 2.5 times that, like minimum, if you want me to make a video for you. And they got back to me and they were like, well, your videos haven't really been getting that many views recently. And to be fair, I mean, with yeah, like 250,000 followers, you'd think that I'd be getting more than like 80,000 views, which I was getting at the time. But still 80,000 views, like that's still a pretty healthy amount. Um, but so I decided to negotiate a contract with them where it was performance based and yeah, I got like 700,000 views. And every time I hit 100K, I got a bonus. So I think that's definitely something that could be really useful for creators is to put a bonus clause in their contract. It's something I'm definitely going to do a lot more moving forward. I haven't done it in any of my previous collabs. It's definitely something I'm going to be doing a lot more moving forward. And then apart from that, in terms of monetization, I've had this idea for a clothing brand for a very, very long time. So I'm trying to build up some capital so that I can launch that hopefully around December, but we'll see. And then I'd like to start up my own little travel agency as well. And I have a couple of ideas of how I want to do that. But yeah, I mean, I don't have an agent, I don't have a team. Everything I do in terms of business and content, everything with monetization. I don't even have an accountant, so I do my own taxes. Like it's a lot of work that I'm having to do for myself at the moment. So I think moving forward I probably will have to get myself a team.
Yeah, so with the travel agency, that sparks my
Ah
interest.
yeah.
You're a travel agency. I'm going to you, Sean Hammonds. What is your top three destinations for the next few months for someone
Ooh.
like me? Yeah, it could be anywhere in the world who loves exploring. I don't know. What's your what's your top three on the list?
Top three on the list. Well, India is not for beginners. I'll say that. But I do think that it's a place that everybody should go before they die. 100%. You have to visit India. You have to go to India. You have to go to India. Like, it's just one of the most incredible places, if not the most incredible place I've ever been in my entire life. Um, but like I said, it's not
Wow.
for beginners, definitely. So, but that'd be one. I think I was in Kazakhstan and that was incredible. I'm planning on going back to Central Asia. Um, I have a potential collab coming up where I might be going to Iraq for a little while. Um, Central Asia is just amazing, and I wish I had more time there, but I got really sick, so I had to go home. But I would definitely say Kazakhstan as well. Kazakhstan's incredible. And then Indonesia, not necessarily just
Yes.
Bali. Uh, Everyone goes to Bali, and yeah, like Bali's fun. There's a lot of like people there, and it's great to chat, and it's great to network, and it's fun. And it's easy. Bali's very easy because everything is catered towards tourists. Um, but like just Indonesia as a whole, I mean, wow. I need to explore so much more of it than I have, but I went over to the west, up to like Java, up to Surabaya, towards Jakarta, and then I went a bit more east as well. Um, I wanted to get to Sumba, which is this island where there are like wild horses that run on the beach. I didn't quite make it there, unfortunately. I only got it as far as Lombok, but I definitely want to go back. Um, Indonesia's it's a wildly beautiful place. It's like just like a little paradise. It's amazing.
That's unreal, man. That's so good. And yeah, the plan was Bali anyway. I'm not sure is it at the end of the year or is it the start of next year, but that's great that you said all of Indonesia in general because I'm sure so many people go to Bali and don't even think about going to any
Yeah,
other part of the country.
literally, yeah. And it's
That
so easy as well. Like to get from Bali to Java, like honestly, if you're going to I'd say anyone watching this, if you're going to Bali, like have an amazing time. Bali is really cool, but make sure you go to Java as well. It's really not that far away. They've got cascading waterfalls that are like something out of Avatar. Like honestly, you'll have never seen anything like this before in your entire life. Like there are
oh
volcano
boys.
hikes that you can go on, Mount Aegean, Mount Batur. You do like sunrise hikes up them. There's one that's like a blue lagoon inside of a volcano. There's like blue fire that comes out of it. Go to Java, go to Java, go to Java. Do you know?
Oh man, I'm getting so excited here. Fucking hell. That sounds so good. So good. Paradise, paradise. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure so far, Sean, but just to finish
Literally.
things off, what would be one piece of life advice you would give to your younger self?
One piece of advice I think I'd give my younger self is I think I'd just say like believe in yourself more. Like if you think you can do something, then just go. Just do it. If you have that belief in yourself, then who is anybody in the entire world to tell you that you cannot achieve something? I think the greatest obstacle that you will ever face in life is the battle that you'll face in your own mind. And if you can win that battle, then you'll succeed. In whatever definition of success you define success as, you will be successful.
That's beautiful stuff, Sean. And it's funny you say that. My mom has a little ornament hanging above the sink downstairs, and it's a little love heart, and it says, "Believe you can, and you're halfway there." So it's very fitting that you said that as well. There you go.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Well, I hope one day I'll, I'll link up with you and maybe I'll get a cup of tea from your mom and we can all sit down and look at the posters together.
With our millions of followers. That's the dream. That
You
is
have
the dream.
millions of followers.
Piece of cake, man. Piece of cake. Well, Sean, I just want to thank you for coming on today. It's been an absolute pleasure. You're you're doing fantastic things, and I'm sure the future is really bright for
100%.
you. So I wish you all the best, my friend.
Thanks so much for having me on. It's been an amazing chat. I've really, really enjoyed it. So, yeah, it's been an absolute honor, and thank you again.